never does. So I was already kind of, following the Andrew McCabe story well before he was the current director. And I was also following the story of how private email was being used by these 19 different conspirators that were at the State Department. So they were all using Blackberries, and then there was all these deals being negotiated at the State Department all over the world. So I was following that. So I was looking for someone in Congress and someone at the State Department who was configuring, who's doing this, who's configuring these phones, who's configuring these Blackberries for this Gmail. So when this story broke by true pundit Thomas Paine, and I've talked to him and collaborated with him on this, it immediately became obvious to me that what they were doing was since Anthony Weiner was such a strong BlackBerry advocate, I thought, Huma is just syncing her BlackBerry to Anthony's now famous laptop. This was confirmed by James Comey, and later with another letter from Andrew McCabe saying this is exactly how the hacks were done. They just put the BlackBerry next to the laptop and it would automatically sync. So I thought, well, that may be exactly how this situation happened. There was an email in the WikiLeaks that talked about Hillary saying, hey, I want Anthony's trusted staff in DC to configure these secure phones. So there's a thing said from Hillary saying maybe one of Anthony's trusted staff could deliver a secure phone. And then Huma responds, okay, I will have blah, 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 just FedEx you a secure phone from DC. Well, why would they, if it's just an IT person configuring a secure phone, why would that be redacted? Didn't make any sense to me. And so Hillary was giving a lot of these phones to different Wall Street folks, and I didn't know what the heck was going on with all the Wall Street speeches. So I really started looking into this BlackBerry issue and this 650,000 emails. Then I started following Luke Rosiak's work at the Daily Caller, and he started talking about thin clients and offsite servers that these Awan brothers had done, stealing equipment from congressional members' offices. So I started saying, oh, this is not good. I had remembered that John Kerry had said that all the negotiations for the Iran deal, the Iran nuclear deal, were on Blackberries. And then Hillary had made a show of showing a BlackBerry during the Pakistani floods. So a lot of this kept pointing back to the Awans configuring Blackberries. So this is just a reminder of the $400 million deal there. And then Obama had this watered down BlackBerry as well that was configured by some special group. So when Maria Bartiromo broke this story about a spy ring in Congress, I immediately thought about the Blackberries. The fact that the Awans were on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, they represented it and worked for representatives on that committee like Andre Carson, Homeland Security, and Foreign Affairs. I think the Foreign Affairs Director just said yesterday, I believe his name is Stephen Knight, that the Awans had total access to everything on the Foreign Affairs Committee. And here was the external server. So I know Omar was at the White House also dealing with passports and visas. So I started thinking, this is much bigger than I thought. This is the solution, I thought at that time, of the hacks at the DNC and the DCCC. The DNC is for Bernie and Hillary to get money in the national election. The DCCC is for the congressional members over in the same building on Ivy Street to get money for their congressional campaigns. So I immediately started suspecting maybe the Awan brothers used this BlackBerry hack to look at the members' emails as well to do those hacks. I started doing a little research on Abid Awan, Imran Awan, and the third brother, Jamal Awan, and I found all these companies. They took over this car dealership that went bankrupt, that took a loan from the Congressional Credit Union for $100,000 after two cars had been repossessed. They were all making $160,000 a year. They seemed to have a lot of different technology companies that they were also doing. So they were a government contractor as well as working for the government, making quite a bit of money as a part-time employee. So I had my antenna up as far as what the heck is going on here. But then I saw this. This was the one that really flipped me out, was Al-Attar. When I knew that Al-Attar was a member of this car dealership that the Awans were in, Al-Attar goes back in terrorism ties all the way back to 2004. he is a known operative for both for Iraq to Iran terror negotiations. He's been connected to Hezbollah, and this is the Daily Signal comes out and says, yes, congressional aides in this criminal probe owed money to this guy, owed money to Al-Attar. Well, he has his own problems. He lost his medical license. He was sexually exploiting patients under anesthesia. He had all sorts of tax evasion issues. So I just started saying, oh, this is much more serious than I thought. In addition, in the car dealership area, there was also these home mortgage companies on the same street in Falls Church, Virginia, that had connections to money laundering for different Iranian and Iraqi interests, and they also had White House connections. So immediately I started saying, again, this could be worse than I had originally thought. They once had the mother of Imran Awan's wife was Surya Begum. She also was connected closely to the government of Pakistan as the interior minister, and she was quite a bit involved in satellite technology. And again, they formed two companies. One was called Nanoset Technology. It looked like Nanosat, so that interested me. And then they created this other kind of mysterious corporation called the New Dawn Corporation. Now, they're connected. There's a daughter, I don't know if she's the daughter or not, that's over at the VA hospital, and they're connected to this AAIT, which is a hacking company. I don't know if that's a real connection or not still to this day, but I just thought this is unusual that these people in Congress have all these other connections. AIT, I won't go into the details, but it's very involved in teaching hacking. They have these Pakistani hackathons in Washington, D.C. Again, all the people that had Blackberries it just started clicking for me that Cheryl Mills, Blackberry, Victoria Nuland with the Blackberry, James Ball-Salih, who is the CEO of RIM, had all kinds of stock manipulation charges and paying fines and just a whole black kind of history with that company. So I started looking at Anthony Weiner's Crackberry habit and so forth, and it just seemed like the Blackberries were the key to this investigation. As you probably remember, the NSA Hillary dismissed the NSA's version of the secure BlackBerry and started demanding that she use her own. Several different articles there were written. This was the secure phone she was offered for $5,000. She said, no, I want my own